This is going to be a continuation of the BRS Colman Peak stove comparison. I started this test out just to see which stove would work best for my needs and what I used. If you looked at the other video before you came here, you'll realize what I ended up determining to use in my kit that I carry with me on the motorcycle. This is the first kit that we looked at, and we compared the Colman Peak, which is this here, with the BRS stove to see which one worked best. And what we found was we saved a lot of time by going from this to this as far as boiling water goes. So what we'll do is we'll just look here. So I've got my times in front of me. There was a difference between the Colman and the BRS stove of 1 minute and 57 seconds when it comes to cooking on the Stanley cup. Now when we went to this cup, which has a larger base, as you can tell, that difference dropped down to 1 minute and 5 seconds difference. But we also found out that on this cup, sitting on this stove, the flames belched up around it so much that this handle got really hot because they were just rolling right off the edges of this. So we determined that this wasn't even usable with the Peak. This one got warm, but the handle so much farther up and so much farther out that it was easy to use. It was just a little warm. But what we've got today, as I said I needed to do in that video, is this kit here, which is a 750 milliliter. Comes in this little stuff sack. I got this 10 months ago maybe, or so, 6 months. 6 to 10 months ago. I've been using it probably for about 6 months. It is a TOAKS, and it's now the kit that I use and carry with me. I have a striker here. I got my stone here, and then it comes with a canister that you can put in the middle. I also have a bit of a windbreak in case I need it, and then the BRS stove that we discussed in that last video. It's still working well for me. And what we're going to do today is see which one of these actually works the best with this pot. Now, as you've seen, this nestled into this pot underneath this canister very well. So that's definitely going to weigh in on what I use. I like stuff to nest well whenever I'm using it. So we're going to boil some water. First with the Colman Peak. We'll evaluate how long it takes for the Colman Peak to work, as well as if these handles are still usable. Now I believe they're going to be, because the stove is so much larger, and we're looking for an increase in time efficiency of boiling water, as we talked about in that other video. I don't really cook. I'm not going to be out grilling steaks out in the middle of the wilderness, those kind of things. I mainly boil water. I make coffee, and I do noodles and those kind of things for evening meal, and I normally have eaten while I'm out on the bike somewhere. So let's get right to it. So we're going to go check this out. I like to use a striker. It's just more efficient for me than a lighter is, and it's more dependable than a lighter as well. And who knows how many strikes you can get out of that. So what we're going to do is fill this up with 12 ounces of water using the inside gradient mark. Right on it there. Put this on. Put this on here. Hit start. And then crank this booger up. You can hear that. It's like a jet right there. But shouldn't be long. We'll have some boiling water for sure. I like to use this 12 ounce mark because that's typically what it takes for anything that I'm rehydrating, pastas or whatever. It's been 1 minute and 27.8. 9. It doesn't feel like it's boiling yet. Nope, we just got a little, some light bubbles there. I like to make AeroPress coffee. 12 ounces is what I use for that. And this guy right here is the place to get coffee. The best coffee I've ever had. It's Ouachita Coffee Roasters. They roast their own coffee beans right here in the Ouachita Mountains of Arkansas. It's a phenomenal piece. Let's look here. We're starting to get there, and we call that a roll right there. Woo. So we'll kill this. This is hot to the touch up close to that water, but back here it's perfectly cool. That's the benefit of titanium. Pour that back in there. Now I've got some fresh water here for that, and we will change stoves out and see what we've got. I figured on this video you guys might want to see how I work this, and instead of like the other one where I did all of this behind the scenes, I came back and just gave you guys hard data. As you can tell, titanium, it's perfectly cool now to the touch. So what we've got here is just some fresh water that's filtered, and we'll pour that in here until I get up to that 12 mark. And once we get finished with this water, we're making a cup of coffee because it's cool out today, and that's what I want to do. We'll go ahead and see how hard this is to light with this striker. There we go. Now we're getting some good gas flow out of there. And you can see this is such a... Turn this up. Y'all can hear that thing boil. Didn't know any better, you'd say there was a jet airplane coming out. We'll sit this on there and hit start. So it's been a minute now. Water's moving a little bit, but it's not getting close to a boil yet. Starting to get a little water moving. We're probably just a few seconds away, so let's just give this some time. And there we go. Roll and boil. We will turn this jet engine off. That is 3 minutes and 57 seconds. We'll put just a little bit of water in there and let that bloom for a few seconds. Usually run that like 20 seconds. Let's write this down, 357, so we can look at the difference. And yeah, these handles are cool to touch all the way up. This is such a more concentrated flame just right in that center that you don't get a lot of heat pour over. So that's been a few seconds. Let's go ahead and do that up. Let it sit for just a few more seconds. Let's pull out the old clock. Let that sit. To me, it's hard to beat an AeroPress out on the road for a cup of coffee. There's a lot of other kits I've seen that are pretty neat, but this one's easy to do. Sometimes I bring coffee like this, Ouachita Coffee Roasters, and they grind it for me, especially if I'm going to be using it a lot. Let's give that a stir now. And sometimes I just get the whole beans. I've got a coffee grinder that is a burr grinder. You grind by hand, and I'll use it to grind coffee fresh if I'm going to be on the road for a little while and I want to keep my coffee fresh. I am just a touch of a coffee snob. Then you slowly press the coffee down. You want to give it some time. There we go. And finish that up with some hot water. And that is just about perfect. Made that cup of coffee in less time than it took to boil water with this BRS. See this? Oh yeah, that's the way I like my coffee. I make this usually hanging off the side of my hammock. I keep my camp gear, cook gear right there, and I'm able to make my coffee and stuff straight out of the hammock, so I don't even have to get up before I have a cup of coffee. But give these guys here a hit. Ouachita Coffee Roasters. Look them up. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're at Ouachita Coffee Roasters, is where they're at, local to Mena, Arkansas. And so this is my kit and the way everything works. I believe what you've seen here is a big difference in our time, no matter which kit I use, whether I use this, whether I use this cup, or whether I use the Stanley. This is the most efficient stove that I've got. The problem is when I use the Peak, the stainless steel cup, it heats up, the handles, I can't grab them, way too hot. The tote kit, which is titanium, the ends, because it's titanium, stay cool. So I just can't choke up on it. I've got to reach back to the back to get it, but I can do it. The Stanley doesn't give me any trouble, but the Stanley takes longer to cook. What we're looking at here, the Stanley kit with the Colman, took 3 minutes to cook. The cup with the Colman took 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And this took 2 minutes even to cook. Now the interesting thing for me was the BRS took 5 minutes to cook on this Stanley piece right here. 5 minutes to boil water at 12 ounces. And then the BRS with this came down to 235 to boil water. But then this one, it jumps back up to 357. So it took about 15 seconds longer to boil water in this. But it was still usable. And as you could tell, it's packable. And these are the options I use. This was a great Christmas present for my father-in-law. I've used it ever since I've got it. As you can tell, it's all different colors and it's black. But here's the deal for me, guys. I'm not always out for the fastest boil time on my water. I'm not always out for the fastest cook. Sometimes it's an experience for me. Oh, we got a flower bed right over there with a water drain in it that we've done. But anyway, it's not about the fastest cook time. Sometimes there's an experience that can go along with cooking or doing coffee, especially if you're roasting, like if you bring hot dogs or something out. I'm the hot dog kind of guy to bring out for extra food if I'm not doing just the straight pastas. And for that, let me show you real quick. I'll be right back. And for that, I really like this. This thing it's been beat up now, but it is it's for a little firebox. I like to find a stick where I can put one in each corner, kind of have the center open, like a little French torch set up, boil water over that. This works best for that just because it sits on there nice and easy. If I get to the campsite early and I'm just going to be hanging out a while and I'm by myself, I like to break this little guy out. He packs up just in a little bitty flat pouch there, and I'll break that out just because I like the smell of a fire, and I don't mind giving a little extra time to cook, you know, for the fire to get up to heat. So that's kind of my experience with these stoves. It's really up to you on what you pick. Matter of fact, if you've got some other stove that you like or something that you use, mention it down in the bottom. I'd love to hear what you guys are using to cook with out on the road. For me, remember, weight's not a problem, but pack size is always a problem. I'm on a motorcycle, and you can see those in some of my other videos, the bikes that I'm on, and space is limited. Weight doesn't affect it, but space is definitely a limitation on that. So these are little cook stoves, and just to rehearse how this goes, this packs in the bottom. This goes over the top. This is a wind block and also keeps everything from rattling around. And my striker, top. And then this carry pouch that you can put in here. Now on the side of this carry pouch, you've got a little spot right here. You put your striker there. You can put some forks or whatever eating utensils you have there. And then that goes nestled down into my pack on my motorcycle. So that's it. Until next time, guys, click subscribe if you like. Give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to let me know what you use when you're out camping on the road.